We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live with Georgia. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for coming. Got a really good show lined up for you tonight. I wanted to give a big thank you to absolutely everybody who came to the launch party last Saturday night. I can't believe it's been a week. I've been floating on all the love, and I really appreciate everyone who came. And the first person who won a reading has already had their prize, so this is very exciting. And a few people are waiting on their beautiful watercolor paintings, and everyone else who won a prize I've had a little chat with, and I just can't wait to keep giving things away, really, and being here with you. So it's all about connection. It's all about upliftment. It's about engagement. I hope that if you're here, that you'll let me know that you're here and that you'll say something. Hello, Jennifer. Hi. Great to see you. Psyched to learn tonight and share time with you all. Thank you. Hope you got your tarot cards with you. I know Jennifer has a deck that I gifted her, and they do say that, you know, you should only ever have a tarot deck that's been gifted to you. And, you know, there's old folklore saying that if it's not gifted to you, it's not right or something. But I've bought plenty of tarot decks for myself, and you know, it's been perfectly fine. There haven't been any curses placed on me because I've had to buy my own tarot decks. But if you do get a tarot deck that's gifted to you, it's extra special, right? It's connected to the person that's given it to you, and then it's also imbued with that energy of love and connection. And so I think this is the one that I gave you, right, Jen? It's the Smith-Waite tarot deck, the Centennial edition. It's a little bit different to the one that I'm using tonight. So you'll see that this has a white border around it. The one that I use is the borderless edition. And if you have a look at the cards, they've basically taken away the white border so that you can see more of the image. And so for tarot deck, people who are interested in the art, to have more of the picture, it's wonderful. But, you know, this one is just as good. So I'm going to be teaching you how to read the tarot deck, right? Isn't this wonderful? I hope you've all got a kind of tarot deck. And if not, tonight's introduction might possibly motivate you to go out and buy a deck. They're about $17 or $16 on Amazon. Smith-Waite tarot deck, that's the one I recommend. But any of the tarot decks that are Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, you'll be able to read with them. And if you have them with you, you can always describe to me what you're seeing, and we can talk about how that relates to what the original sort of cards were sort of designed to emulate. Jenny, hi. Diana, aloha. Dana's here. Wonderful. Yay. Deb's here. Hi, Deb. Deb and I came on about 5 minutes ago and we crashed the system. She says, I love the throat chakra kundalini. Thank you. Thank you. This is a beautiful piece from Australia. And there it is. Can you see that up against my hand? It's a beautiful snake kind of crystals, little crystally, sparkly thing that I bought from Australia, which I really love when I was there in August. And just loved that it was connected to the kundalini. And oh boy, has my throat chakra been on a journey this week. I have to tell you all, since going live last week and since kind of like building up with all this beautiful energy on working on my image and how I'm to be seen and what I'm meant to be saying and how I'm being received in the world, my throat chakra got red. I had this massive rash all over my throat chakra today. This week and today. I've kind of covered it up a little with foundation, but it's really interesting when you sort of step out and you're doing something out of your comfort zone. And, you know, when your body reacts, which is what my body was doing, I had to really look at what's going on for me. What fear is coming up? And in the throat area, it's like, you know, sort of being heard and being seen, and how afraid we are of, well, I am, how afraid I have been of taking the next step, you know. And yeah, it's been actually quite fascinating. And I've been communing with the tarot, which is what I do. So the tarot for me, and the reason that I want to kind of bring it out into the world and have engaged more people with it is to be in service so that other people can have the same experience that I've had with it, because I believe that the tarot is designed to help you become in a deeper relationship with your subconscious. And so the tarot will tell you the truth, right? The tarot will kind of tell you what's really going on underneath the surface. And that's what I feel the subconscious is. So the conscious rides on the surface, and these are the thoughts that we have on a daily basis that we are aware of. And the subconscious is kind of underneath the surface. It's a little hidden. And often our behaviors, or what we call unconscious behaviors or subconscious behaviors, I use the unconscious and the subconscious together. They're kind of the same to me, because I really believe that the unconscious can be made conscious, and subconscious just means that it's ready to be made conscious. It's ready to be made, it's ready to be understood. Just like me getting a rash over my throat chakra helped me understand that there was some fear associated with, my being able to speak out loud and speak to more people and reach more people. So that was just a huge lesson for me this week. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Linda. And actually, it was Linda Dross today. I got my own mini More Truth Will Set You Free workshop with Linda. If you have an opportunity to have one with her, and if it's something that's allowed, I'm sure she'll be letting us all know at some point in the future. But the More Truth Will Set You Free workshops, and everybody who's been initiated into being able to facilitate these for people, are incredible. Derek O'Neill, I think, initiated some people back in 2006 and 2007. And these are incredible workshops, incredibly life-changing and life-transforming. And today I had a session with Linda, and my throat chakra cleared of all of its fog. So, this work that we do, the energy work that we do, and the subconscious work that we do when we're digging in to look for something and hopefully, kind of throw the light of consciousness onto it, then it becomes free. And I feel that that's what's happened today. I really feel my throat chakra has kind of opened up, and there was a little bit there. I don't know, you could probably see a bit of red there. I don't know. I'll stop talking about myself. It's not really about me. It's about you. It's about what I've experienced and, being able to release myself from. And that's something that I'm offering to you. So there are so many tools that we can use, and the tarot is one of them. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Lisa Thurlow, and then Jenny's here. Wonderful. So happy to be here again tonight. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for being here. This is awesome. Hope you have your tarot deck handy. I haven't even looked for the full, but he's in here. Later on tonight, so if anybody wants a reading, I think, Deb, you've already, thank you very much for sending in $10. You're going to get your reading first up. So the way that I'm running my Live with Georgia's now is that if there's someone who wants to have a reading, I'm asking for a $10 exchange, and that's paid to my PayPal. Let me see if I still have this link up here. I'll just put it in. So if anybody wants me to read specifically for them with a specific question, send $10 to my PayPal account right there, and I will be sending 30% of that to the charity that we chose last week, which was the Mamas for Africa. Mamas for Africa, www.mamasforafrica.be is the address. It's not com, because I put that down last week and that was incorrect. So you can actually have it, the Dutch side of that, translated into English, and it basically benefits women in the Congo, who are the poorest of the poor in Africa, and basically protecting them against violence and helping them emotionally and economically. And so if I can just, they've been around since 1999, and I've gone back into the Dutch. Here we go. Been around since 1999, committed to helping the poorest women on the African continent, and their mission is to let all women advance. Respect for women's rights are crucial, and they have many, many projects. So I really encourage you to visit the website, mamasforafrica.be. We're going to be sending money that we make tonight to them, and I'll be talking about them for the rest of June and the whole of July. We'll be helping these women in Africa. So I'm actually excited to kind of get to know more about them, and together we can help them. Isn't that wonderful? So Deb, if you have a question brewing, and Linda says, can I have a reading? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful. So we've got 2 people having a reading. Yay! I need my little streamers. I gave them to the kids and they've disappeared. What else did I want to talk about? I wanted to mention that I have so tonight's 8:00, and moving forward as of next Saturday, I have to bring the time sort of a couple of hours backwards. So I'll be going live next week and probably the weeks after that at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which makes it I think that's 3 p.m. Pacific time, and that might be Australia time. It'll be like Sunday, but at 8 a.m. in the morning. Which is a little early, but still 8 a.m. is not bad for all my Aussie mates. And then we might be able to have some European friends come in. So it'll be something like 11 p.m., I think, in Ireland, and a little later, I think, in Deutschland. And I think I have my friend Lara Sala, who gave us the name for Mamas for Africa. So it might be a little bit late for her, but everyone close to us, like the UK, I have some friends in Britain, and hopefully they'll be able to join us. So Jenna, thank you. Jenna, we've got 3 readings. Wonderful. Okay, well, let's jump straight in. Please ask your question. Hi, Lita. Hey, Laurie. Hi. Wonderful. Hi, thank you so much for being here. Lisa says she was waiting for me. Yes, I was late. I had a crash in the system. All's good now. Dana's got her cards. Wonderful. Get your cards out, Dana. I'll be finding the Fool. So while Deborah, who told me she's paid on PayPal, I'll be able to have a look at my PayPal account right now, and we'll be able to see. Oh, there it is. Money's waiting for me. Wonderful. Thanks, everybody, for sending in that money. And we're going to do some readings. Wonderful. Superb. Deb, have you got your question there? Have I missed it? Here we go. Jenna, hello. Thank you so much. It will be my honor. Deb says, random pool is always perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so we've got our questions ready. How's the microphone sounding? Last week, I'm just tapping it now. Last week, I had the microphone coming out of the webcam, and I didn't realize that. And then when I listened back to the recording, it didn't matter. We were all so giddy. I was just so happy. I was flying like a kite. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for that. It's perfect sound. Wonderful. So I'm shuffling the cards. We'll pull out, after these few readings, we'll pull out the Fool. Who knows? He may turn up, because Deb has asked for a random card pull, which is wonderful, because you never know who'll turn up. I know last time you had another major arcana, Deb. I did want to say, I mentioned the deck that I recommend for everybody, Smith-Waite tarot deck. There's also a book that I really love. There are 2 books. One is the Holistic Tarot by Benebell, which is it's like this thick, and it's like a encyclopedia. And this woman is extremely thorough. She was a lawyer in her past life, and is just incredibly detailed in all of her sort of explanations and understandings of the tarot and its history. So I really recommend her book. I also recommend Rachel Pollack's 78 Degrees of Wisdom, which is sort of like the classic. And then I also recommend this tarot coloring in book for all of us who are eye candy friendly, because it is actually this big. It's massive. And look at how big these pictures are. So you get to see the details. And there's also an explanation, a sort of nice brief explanation of each card, 78 cards, and each of them have an explanation on this side. So you get to color it in, and you also get to, and I believe that when you are engaging with the colors, you really get a feel for what the colors mean. Because, for example, the cups in this particular deck are yellow, or a very sort of pale tan. And you can kind of get a feeling for the fact that they're emotion, they're kind of sunny emotion. It's a very bright emotion, that emotions may be heightened, and they're also highlighted. So it's fascinating. And you can choose your own colors. You can create your own sort of deck with your own foundational colors. But that there's the Devil. come to visit, come to have a cup of tea, his strength. So they're basically the exact same pictures, the illustrations on this deck put into a book. And I think this book is somewhere between $10 and $15. It may even be like $11, but it's definitely worth the money. The descriptions are very nice, succinct sort of revisions of every card. So another great sort of resource. And those other two books, Holistic Tarot and 78 Degrees of Wisdom. The best way to get your tarot done is to take a card and come and visit with me each week. We'll be going through each card. We're starting with the Major Arcana, the Fool. And after we do our readings and help Mamas for Africa today, we're going to play with the Fool. Let's see if he turns up. I'm curious. I wonder if he's turned up. So I have, just so I know, I have Deb. I don't want to miss anyone. I have Deb, and then I have Jenna Darko, and I have Linda Drost. And let me see if someone else, is there someone I've missed? Hi, Anna, how are you? I missed your name. Thanks for coming. So good to see you all these incredibly powerful teachers and healers. Aloha, says Dana. Wonderful. Got them on hand. So I'm just checking in and making sure that I have everybody who's paid for a reading, that we're getting them. So Jen, wonderful. Jennifer Anderson. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So thank you all for your support, and thank you for sending. We're all going to send money to Mamas for Africa. I'm so terribly excited to be making that donation. I may even take a little video of it when we do it. I might share the screen and it's just so wonderful to know that you're helping, even if I don't quite know how the money exactly will help, but energetically, if you think about the group of people that are here and our energy collected together, and we're all putting in this money and it's going directly to these women who are in need, it just makes my heart smile. So wonderful. And thank you for supporting me in that. And I'm so grateful you're all here. All right, Deb. Here we go. Oh, wow. Now, I think, Deb, you've had this card before. Here it is. This is the Empress. Now, the Empress is the Earth Mother. Before the Empress, you have the Fool, the Divine Mother, who is the High Priestess, the Magician, who's the Divine Father, and then comes the Empress. So there's only 3 archetypes before her, and when the Empress comes in, she's basically giving birth to everything that's been created in the spiritual realm. And you can see her, she's opulent, she's abundant, she really doesn't have a care in the world, she's just happy to be. And do you see there's a little river running in the back? Can you see this little waterfall happening in the background there? There's a time when she used to be attached to her emotions, and now she's not. And I think, Deb, this is the message that's coming through to you, that you can let your emotions come and go, and you've become a master of them in some ways, that you're no longer distracted by them, that you're no longer a slave to how your emotions make you feel. And for us women in general, because we are often very tied to our emotions, I mean, we're often feeling emotional when we're expressing ourselves. So it's actually, I feel, a really beautiful part of the female or the divine feminine, where emotions come very close to, everything that we do. And we're deeply feeling, the water and the feminine. If you look at the High Priestess, she has a lot of water around her. And the fact that the water in the Empress's card is in the background tells me that the water and the emotion that used to be at the forefront is now in the back, and you're no longer really suffering from any sort of over emotionality. It's just, there can be a waterfall going on, and you are still sitting on your throne, happily enjoying everything that's going on, enjoying your cushions, not 1 cushion, but 2 cushions. And here's the divine feminine symbol, and just all of this abundance, seeing the world around you as abundant. The truth is that the Empress is responsible for this abundance. So I feel not only are you being encouraged to see everything around you as your creation, like, thank you, I created that. and meeting everything that comes into your path as this is my creation. This is my consciousness bringing this forth for my own enlightenment. There is so many teachings packed up, compacted in this one card, and I feel that you're embodying them all now. And what else can I tell you about this card? Look at the trees that are in the background. I'm going to see if I can bring it up a little closer. There we go. There she is. You see that she's got stars on top of her head? There are 12 stars, and they represent the stars in the zodiac. And her crown tells us that it's almost like a success in your capacity to commune with spirit and bring that information down into the ground, into the very earthy sort of environment, into the three-dimensional sort of world that we live in. So all of these spiritual teachings that you've been in contact with, Deb, that you've brought through many, many, many lifetimes, you've grounded into your life this lifetime. And in that way, you become a person to whom people go to have access to these teachings. And when you interact with people, I think we already know, having read so many of your posts on Facebook and conversations that we've had over the phone, and I'm sure you've had similar conversations with others, that you live your life teaching these teachings, and you live them because you've experienced them, and then you share what you've experienced and the teachings that you've learned as you've seen them unfold in your own life, and you share that with others. And you've certainly done that with me. So I feel like this card is a card of celebration of your coming into your own as the encasing and embodying the divine feminine, but also this divine energy that comes through you. And congratulations on, ending the suffering of being tied to one's emotions. Well done. Congratulations. So that's your reading. That's your one reading. If you have a specific question, I can, work with a specific question. So that's a general reading. I will pick one card and I will talk and talk and talk about it. But if you have a specific question or Deb, if as I'm speaking, something comes up, I've missed everyone's. Here we go. Jennifer Anderson says this one, the Holistic Tarot, an integrative approach to using tarot for personal growth. That's the one. It's like 300 or 400 pages. And but it's worth it, if you use a few books at the same time. So, for example, you're studying one card, like, for example, tonight, I'll introduce you to the Fool. And then the best thing to do is to go to a few resources online or in your own sort of bookcase. Online, there's a lot of information. You can find information on tarot on YouTube, Facebook. There are multiple groups. I'm part of a group called Tarot Nerds. Highly recommend you all join that group, because you could do free readings. You could just put up a card and say, hey, I don't understand this card. How do I work with it, etc. And people all around the world, there's like tens of thousands of people in this group. But if it feels like that's too much, then, stick with just one or two sources and then refer from one to the other. And that's the best way to learn. So through experience, and as you experience each card, it's good to have a journal. So this is another thing I highly recommend. I have an online course called Spirit on a Journey Arcana, and it's on teachable.com. And I actually discovered that they took it down for some reason today, but it's meant to be lifelong on Teachable. So we're trying to find the course again. Meanwhile, if you were interested in having access to the information that I've uploaded on that website and the course that I provide, please let me know. Contact me. You can email me at georgiamarantos@gmail.com, or you could just contact me via Facebook. You can messenger me, and I will definitely make sure to send you the information on that, because it's good to have, I actually uploaded videos where I'm explaining each card, and we also journey with each card, especially all through the major arcana. We have a journey with each card. So you're dealing with the archetype. So we journey with the Empress. And once you're communing with the Empress and having conversations with her in your sort of mind, in your inner space, your imagination, then you're drawing on more information that you can put in your data bank for whenever you meet this card again. It comes up in a reading and you're like, oh, I remember when I journeyed with the Empress. I was, by a lake and we were having a cup of tea, and, she was very laid back and really nothing bothered her, and so those are the things that you keep inside you. So when it comes up in a reading, you're like, oh, well, nothing's going to bother me. I don't need to worry about this. So that's how it works. That's how we tap into our knowledge and our previous readings and our subconscious when we're tapping into the Arcana. I'm sorry, I have, here we go. I sent in for one too. So Dana said she sent in. Thank you, Dana. I'm going to put you on my list. I have Deb. Deb, I hope that resonated for you. It certainly felt. Hi, Kelly, how are you? I'm in the process of moving home. Would love any info on my new home. You bet. And so Dana's got one here too. Wonderful. Wonderful. I may have sent a message that was too long, says Lisa. Don't worry, Lisa. I'm going to go through everybody little by little so I can make sure I don't miss out on anyone. Hi, Laurie. Love the charity, says Jennifer. Thank you. So Deb, random pool is always perfect. Linda Drost says, here we go. So, and Jenny Dee, Jenny. Now I'm hoping I have enough time to make sure I give everybody exactly the right time. I want to make sure everybody gets a good reading. Here we go. So I'm going to go down the list. We've got Linda Drost is next. Linda, I'm going to look at your question, Linda, because you have a specific question. I have a friend who is not communicating well with me. What is going on? So this is the card I got, the Queen of Cups. So I actually pulled this up. This is the Queen of Cups is the opposite of the Empress, if you can imagine that. So the camera's focusing on my face. So I'm just going to put the card. There it is. Going to see if the camera can stay on her while I still talk to you from afar. So you can see that here is the Queen of Cups. Her feet are in the water. She's holding a cup. She's kind of looking a little sort of sternly at this cup, wondering what's happening. And, that's you. I think the Queen of Cups in this card represents you. But what I want to do is I want to pull a card. Whenever we pull cards, it's really important to be very specific about why you're pulling the card, so that when you receive the card, you can attach it to specific meaning. So I pull this card as a general, but this is you. In general, in relation to your reading, this is you in your emotion. And when we're in our emotion, we really can't see clearly. I can't even read for myself when I'm highly emotive about a particular topic. So I reach out to my friends, right? As you all know, I reach out for help, and that's perfect. That's what we're meant to do, right? That's why we have our friends. That's why we do the work that we do, as we're working on ourselves, this self-consciousness work, this raising our own consciousness, or what do I call it? When people ask me what do I do, I say that I'm a wellness facilitator, or I'm in personal development, because it's self-work, it's personal work, but that which we do for ourselves, we can do for others, we can help others with. This is the card for the actual, if we're going to call it an issue, I'm just going to call it for what's going on with the communication. So I can tell you what's going on with the communication, and this card says it pretty clearly, doesn't it? It's like this person is physically moving in one direction, but looking in the other. And so there are two conversations going on. I would say you're right to feel that there's something confusing going on, because there's the energy in this card is confusing. There's a surface happening where this person's moving in that direction, but they're looking in another direction. So in order for you to gain clarity about what's going on with this communication, let me see if we can pull a card to say, well, how can we help you create an opening around this communication? That would be my next logical sort of step, next logical question. How can we... So here is the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles says, I love this. I love you. I love communicating with you, and I love being with you. And so the Page of Pentacles is asking you, and I'm just having trouble with my camera, but here we go. Can we get the camera to focus on the pentacle. I have to disappear, I think. No, it's still focusing on me. Let me see if I can help. I'm sure you can all see it clearly, but I'm going to see if I can bring it. Here it is. I'll just keep it here. So you have him and he's holding this pentacle, right? I feel that the communication is all one-sided. And in order for you to open that door, there has to be, and I know that you already do communicate very clearly, Linda, there has to be a sense of, this is the way, this is what I need. I need clear communication. I need there, see how much clarity there is around this? So what I'm getting is that you need to ask for clear communication, and that when clear communication is not happening, in some ways you've got to put a line in the sand and say, well, you know, I can't communicate like this, or if we're going to continue like this, then I need to do X, Y, Z. So somewhere in the sand, there has to be a line. But this person, this Page of Pentacles tells me that it's okay. You're at the beginnings of something. You're just starting to lay down the sort of laws in, you know, this friendship of communication. If you can just let them know how deeply you feel about them and not be afraid. So I'm getting the sense, don't be afraid of how they're going to react. Oh, there we go. We've got the clarity. I kind of have to get out of the picture, don't I? So you see this red scarf that's around his head, you know, this red scarf. And I think the red scarf can kind of cover or cloud the reality, or cloud what's really happening. I do sense that there is a mutual love. See how he's holding the pentacle? It's just with such reverence. And I feel that if you were to clearly communicate, ask for clear communication, and I believe you'll get it. This is the Ace of Wands. It represents a yes. It represents clarity. It represents opportunity. And I picked it with the specific question of, if you were to actually say and draw your line in the sand and say, this is what I need clear communication, then I believe that the other person's going to respond very positively. So I hope that answers your question, and please report back and let me know how it goes. So you also said, what is going on? That's an interesting question, isn't it? Because it could be what's going on my side as well as on their side. So I didn't really look at what they were going through and why that was. We just understand that that person was doing one thing and then moving in another direction, that there were two things. But you're reading the situation right in terms of there's something not right here. Right? So this person is balancing their emotions. So I'm just getting the star on their end. They're going through a lot too. And so what you want to do is allow them some room and some space to have their moment, so to speak. It's clear that something is out of balance for them, right? And that's why they're going in one direction. Remember that Seven of Swords? They were kind of off whack, you know. Why would you be holding these swords moving in one direction and then be looking backwards? Every time my children do that, like they're running forward but looking back, I we have to stop and we have to say, stop, you're about to fall. And so that's what was happening to that other person. So I feel that this person is coming into balance, and some time and some patience. And for you, just putting the line in the sand and saying, this is exactly what I need, will be very helpful for you. And it will kind of move things forward. Hope that was helpful, Linda. We're now going to come along to Jenna. Jenna, hi to everybody. I'm sorry I'm not getting to everybody who is here. Hello. Linda says thank you. Deborah's giving me some feedback. She says thank you. You answered questions didn't even know I had. Validated so much of what I've already been told from DO and also BA. You nailed it, my dear friend, all the way down to my butt cushions. Have you been sitting on butt cushions? BS, not BA. Great. Awesome. So Jen Anderson says, sorry, I didn't tell you who it's by. Yes, it is by Teresa Reed. So I'm just going to put it up. The Coloring In book is by Teresa Reed, right? And It's called a tarot coloring in book or coloring book, right? And you can find it on Amazon. It's definitely worth buying. And there were plenty to buy last time I looked. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, Jen. And thanks for helping. Thanks for finding those. So let me see. Do I have Jenna Darko? Jenna, where are you? Here she goes. Would love clarity on moving forward with requests for financial support for film writing from potential investors community while I'm struggling with some feelings that others in more serious need. Now, I need to clarify your question, Jenna, and I hope that you can hear me sort of talking this through. And please do make sure that the way that I'm understanding your question, if it's wrong, you need to correct me, right? So would love clarity on moving forward with requests for financial support for film writing from potential investors. So I'm assuming that you're writing for grants, asking for money from people who are, able to give it to you while I'm struggling with some feelings that others are in myself. Okay. So I understand the question. Let me know if I've got it. So the question is, am I allowed to put my hand up for much needed finances to go ahead with the projects that my heart wants me to do? And your quandary is it okay, given that I know that there are others who are in serious financial strife? So the first thing would be that I would look at, there are two questions here, right? Am I worthy is kind of underneath it all. But on the top of that is, can I give myself that which I really want is the other one, right? Because there's two. I feel that rash that was on my throat was all about self-worth and self-love. That was underneath it all. Can I really allow myself to just love myself, doing what I love to do, regardless of how I'm received, regardless of what other people think of me, regardless of people who've never met me before, because it's wonderful to be loved by people I already love and have relationships with. But to meet people who don't know me, who couldn't care what it is that I do or whatever, may not even think to, see me and pass me by, or all, rejection, dealing with rejection. So can my self-worth be that I'm going to stand up and say, this is worthy, this cause, this thing that I'm doing is worthy, and I'm just going to do it because I love to do it? And I feel it's the same thing, Jenna. I really do. I feel like, you're mirroring that question. I feel like I experienced it this week. Can you find it within yourself to say, I'm worthy to move forward with these writing projects? I'm worthy. And that my request for finances is separate to my worth. And I feel like you're probably writing that down now. I feel like, here she is, the issue of privilege have come so far forward in our culture. Absolutely. I'm a white woman with a lot of privilege. Absolutely. So am I, and as are we all. Yet I have much deeper pockets to come forth for this project. That's right. You need deeper pockets. Absolutely. And so one is to acknowledge, as you have, the fact that there are people who are in greater need. And it's, if it was your life's purpose, to only, I'm trying to find the right words, but if you were advocating for those people in need, then, and that was your job, that was what you were doing, then I can understand that direct relationship of, well, hang on, I'm advocating for these people. Why am I advocating for myself right now when I'm here to help them? So I wonder if the two things can happen. I'm kind of talking off the top of my head, but I am going to pull a card. I want to know what Spirit have to say. Can we separate? Because the work that you're doing, of course, is in service, and at some point will help those who are not as privileged. right? Because I know you are a woman of service, a woman who's come here to allow spirit to flow through her, and that is your service, and that this project that you're working on where you need financial assistance for is all a part of you being of service. And so if you were to allow that to be the perspective from which you move into requesting money, and remember, all you're doing in writing a grant or sort of asking for money is you're putting it out to the universe that I'm ready to receive. And if you're ready to receive, then that's all you need. And once you have that, what you do with it and how you distribute it is totally up to you. You may wish to then distribute it to others who are also in need. You may wish to say, well, if I'm given $500,000, I'm going to give $100,000 to the people that I know who are around me in need, because it's my privilege to receive that money, and it's also my privilege to give it away. So I haven't chosen a card for you, but I'm going to, Jenna. But in wanting to really tease through the questions, right, I want to make sure that I'm asking the tarot very specifically for an answer that I can give you directly. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, should I put in my grants to receive the money? Should you do it? Let's make that a question of, should I do it or should I not do it? Right? Because that's your choice, right? You're either going to move ahead and do the work that's required to request the money, or you're not. And you know that to do these projects, you need that money. So let's see, is it a good thing for you to request this money? Will it be good for you? Requesting money. I'm laughing because the card is so fantastic. But I'm also going to pull one for not going ahead, right? And how that would feel. I mean, how does that feel? Even me just saying that. Don't go ahead and ask for that money for those projects. It is so black and white, and I'm just so happy these cards and that the tarot is reflecting us here, Jenna, because this is the card I pulled for you moving ahead to ask for that money. And it is literally one of the most joyous in the deck. There are 3 women, they've raised their cups up and they're celebrating. And clearly, if you go ahead and now I've been taught how to do this. Here we go. I'm going to move forward and try to get some. There we go. It's focused now. There it is. Look at their expressions. They're just enjoying. Can you see it? Oh, trouble with my camera today. Oh, there we go. Oh, that clarity. I love it. I'm sorry, I have to have my face out of the window. I'll peek out here. So you see how they're all holding it up. They're really having a great time. This is you. If you move ahead with asking for the money that this project deserves, right, which is separate to your deserving and your self-worth. We want you to separate it because it's not about you, right? It's about service, being in service. So that makes it very easy, doesn't it? That if you know that this project that's your baby that you're giving birth to, that's going to do good for so many, is separate to you and yours, it actually allows the energy to come down from spirit and then go through you to everybody who needs it. And so therefore you're not in that equation. So you can take out any concerns that you have around feeling privileged to be asking for money and receiving that money. You can take that out of the equation, because remember, this project is in service to others. So yes, go ahead. Now, if you weren't to do that, if you weren't to go ahead and ask for money, this is the card. I hope everybody's laughing. It really is black and white. Not laughing at anything, but just the fact that, look at these 2 cards. They couldn't be. You should definitely go ahead and ask for that grant to get that money that you know that your project needs. Because you not only will you not be happy if you don't do it, you won't be happy with yourself that you didn't go ahead and ask for it. You really won't. And so the only thing to do for you is to go ahead and do it, and do it without any guilt, because you know that you're in service for the greater good of many. Does that, I feel like maybe we kind of teased it apart and clarified it. And I'll look to see if, Jenna says, totally wonderful. I really have needed that affirmation this last few weeks. I just love you too, Jenna. I feel like we totally got it right. Yes, 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 yes. She says, that sad card is probably how I look in those minutes in the middle of the night if I have doubt or guilt. Yes, like all of us. I think I had a nightmare the day before I had to talk to sort of someone who was going to spread the word about me. And I thought, wow, this is how I feel when I'm in fear. And, I'm really glad that we got to just tease that out a little bit. And sometimes I have to trust spirit. Inside my mind, as I was talking, I was saying to myself, Georgia, you haven't pulled a card yet. Why aren't you pulling a card? People here expecting you to pull cards. Why are you going on and on and on? The truth is that spirit's talking through us. And I've opened the intention for spirit to come through, for me to be of service. And now we know, right? It helps. Sammy, hi. My cousin Samantha's here from Australia, Melbourne, Australia. And Jenna says you talked it out perfectly. I'm so grateful. It really helped to tease it apart, didn't it? So you could do that for someone else, right? The same way that I did this. When someone asks a question, before I pull any cards, I make sure in my mind that I have the question right. And it really did help to tease it out. And sometimes it's finding that clarity where you're kind of pulling the web of, there are so many things that are attached to this one question, but how do we pull it apart and tease it apart and get to this kind of like the gold in there? Yes, Jenna says, spirit was flowing through you in very streams that needed to be spoken. Wonderful. Thank you, Jenna. And you're an incredible being that's coming through with so much beauty. Keep up the great work, says my cousin. So proud of you, cuz. Thank you, Sam. Oh, so Samantha and her sister Vicky were the two people that I remember growing up when I was little. My parents used to visit her parents, so Sam's mum and my dad are brother and sister. And Sam's mum has passed into spirit. How many years ago is it now, Sam? 11 years ago now. But I remember traveling down to you to be with you and your sister, and you were so kind to me. I just remember so much love with you, and it's always been that way. And isn't that the case, that we always remember those people who are so kind to us? And it just reminds me more and more to always be kind, and that it just never pays to step outside that kindness. It's one of it's something that I really want for myself, for it to become a mantra. Remember to be kind. I remember that kindness 40 something years later, and it means everything to me. I mean, I feel like I'm crying just thinking about it. You're a special soul. 10.5, says Sam. Laurie, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Shelley. Oh, do you love the snake? Yeah, sparkling. Here it is. Oh, I was putting it up against my skin earlier. I love snakes. Love nagas. Says Jennifer. She rules. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. So I'm going to come down to, we've got Jennifer and Dana for donating to Mamas for Africa. Thank you, everyone, to donating. We've got wonderful amount of money that we're going to be able to send them, and I'll be posting on Facebook. So you'll find me on my public page on Facebook, and I'll do all of my announcements there. And hopefully I'll post a little video there for, well, maybe I'll post it on YouTube, but I'll make sure that everyone sees every week exactly how much money we're raising. So over the month, we can have a total at the end of the month, and we can have a little celebration. And, it's always wonderful to know that the money's going to someone who really, really needs it. And I dropped a card. That's interesting. It's interesting. It's the Knight of Wands. So someone's come to visit. I wonder if it's the snake. Look at these little salamanders that are on his shirt. A redhead. I wonder who's got a redhead visiting. So I'll put him back in there because we want to shake the cards up for Jennifer Anderson. So Jennifer, did you say that you had sent in? My question is, here she is. Thank you, Kelly. She says that I look beautiful. Thank you. I feel beautiful. Thank you so much. My question relates to a general reading to now this summer. What's the dominant message for me from Spirit? What's in store for me? Oh, yeah. Great for summer. Did I do a birthday reading for you, Jen? So on my birthday readings, Jennifer was so kind to say that it was really helpful to look at the numerology of a birthday. And there's a card that marries numerology and tarot. Every single card in the tarot deck actually has a number, right? And so because they're numbered, they offer the number vibration in addition to whatever the picture on the card is saying. And when we did when I did Jennifer's birthday reading, we looked at the number vibrations, not only of the year that she was entering. So every time you come onto your birthday, the numbers of the date of your birthday add up to a specific number. And we cycle every 9 years. So she was stepping into, I don't remember, was it a number 8 year? And so that 8 year is going to give you everything that 8 sort of it gives you, which is, the sort of reaping of the rewards or the benefits of everything you've planted in the previous years. So you go from 1 to 10. And studying the tarot with me, and certainly over these weeks as we do all this wonderful work, you're going to see how the numbers 1 to 10 come in and they repeat, right? Actually, it's 1 to 9 that repeats over and over and over. And we'll get to see how there are new beginnings, how there are sort of challenges with the 5s, and the 8s and the 9s are completions. So each number has a specific vibration. So to summer. So when we do a reading, I have done this where we look at the year ahead and we look at, we look at January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We sort of pick a card for every month to see, hey, what's the flavor of that month? And if we record the reading, you can always go back to the spot in the reading where we talk about that particular month. Now, I don't think I did that with you, Jen, but that's something that I also include in looking at a year ahead birthday reading. But we had a lot of fun with the numerology from memory. And I will bring that numerology book on at some point and we'll talk about it. So, Jen, this is your reading for the summer. So it's interesting because this card tells me that you might be staying put. Now, you're a person that travels a lot, and I see that here these cards are about balance. You've got 1 on the crown, 1 over the heart, and 2 under the feet. There are things that are happening for you now that are keeping you not in this pose, but in the feeling that this pose gives you. There's a 1 of maybe stillness. These are the words that are coming through. I'm getting this sense of stillness. I'm getting this sense of, when it's almost like a slow cooker. So there's something that's going and going and going and going, even though there's motion, but it's very slow motion and it's happening inside you. So I feel that what you're doing, the work that you're doing that's happening inside you is happening over this period of summer. And so over summer, expect there to be growth. Expect there to be growth on the inner level. So it's not happening on a busy outer level. What you're doing, so for example, any spiritual work that you're doing, because what we've got here is the crown chakra and the heart chakra that's grounding these. You've almost got a triangle. So you see how there's a triangle here. It's a very long triangle, but still this triangle of manifestation. All the spiritual efforts that you're making will come into fruition. So over this summer, I feel you're going to be grounding a lot of your spirituality. Can I bring this closer to make it? There it is. So you see how he's looking very solemn, but also very peaceful. And he's balancing spirituality with his work. Can you see how I feel like he's working? For some reason, this also has to do with your work. You're balancing your spirituality and your work. You're outside of the city. You're outside of the city. And that's not to say, so this is just a stage. So at this moment and during summer, this is what's coming up for you. You're not going to be traveling. So I don't know if you were planning on travel, but there's just like a sense of not necessarily going out as much, not out. Okay. So this is not getting on an airplane, right? And you're going to be staying not in, but where you are, because I know you're usually on the move, and I feel this card is telling you that you're going to be sitting, still and working a lot. I have to figure out how to do those cards in and out. Anyway, sorry about that. So we have, I might just pull one more card, just to get a bit more clarity, because I also see a shadow there. I do see you out in the sun, though, and enjoying that. So here is another one. This is another card I pulled for clarity. Well, this will help. So we got this earlier for Jenna, but I think it means something different here. So I would ask you now, so this card has come up, the Nine of Swords. So over summer, is there something or someone that you're thinking about that sometimes, I know that you recently lost your uncle, and I feel that this might be the grief that comes through. Because I see some of the beauty that was here, that was kind of laid down. When I see a quilt, I think of families and tradition, and that's why I keep thinking it could be associated with the loss of your uncle. So it may very well be that during this time in this summer, some of those feelings that rise, maybe it'll be in other family members, because we've got the quilt here, and that makes me think of other family members, that you'll be supporting them, and that you'll be coming into the sort of the deeper part of the grief as it kind of comes in and moves through you, because it's a real process. And, for some people it lasts for years, and we have to get about and do our job. So we kind of push it down, or we sort of put it to the side, or we keep doing what we're doing, but we know that it's there. And it could be that it comes up, at night and over summer, and maybe for your other family members, because I know it was so I got the 10. So that effect and that influence won't last the whole summer. So I do feel like you'll end up doing your work, and that will be good and complete by the end of summer. And I'm going to pull one more card, because I want to see what we have. And then it feels like September, there's an awakening. See the Sun card? I was kind of waiting to see if we were going to see the other end. So summer feels like it's actually a non-summer, so to speak. Even though you're going to be out in the sun, you're going to be, moving around in your suburbs and your neighborhoods and going around the cities as you have been. It's not going to be a normal sort of summer for you as you've had before, because we've got this pandemic, etc., and things have really changed up for people. You're going to keep working as you're working. But I do feel that at the end of summer, you're going to have this real sort of opening and awakening, and you can look forward to that. That could very well be a function of your spiritual practice and work, but also the sense that something may open up in the world around September. It could be that we get to fly again in September, or that, we don't know what's happening. Actually, while we're all here, can we please send some energy and love to Arizona and all the other states that are suffering at the moment with having spikes and peaking with the number of COVID cases? So if anyone's here with me, would you like to send a Prima Agni with me? So the Prima Agni is a beautiful symbol of love that opens the heart and sends loving, healing energy. And so I'd love to send that to all the states that are panicking right now, that are suffering with concerns and seeing a lot of sickness and illness. So I'm going to draw it. And to learn how to draw it, you can go to DerekO'Neill.com and click energy treatments, and there you'll find Prima Agni, or you can Google Derek O'Neill Prima Agni, PREMA, separate word, Agni, AGNI. So we draw a triangle. Back to the tip of the triangle. 9 strikes to the lightning bolt, a love heart, stick, and then from right to left. And now I'm holding the Prima Agni, and I'm going to blow it out to all the states that are suffering right now, and all the people who are suffering right now, and all the frontliners, and everybody who needs it right now. Here we go. Knowing in our hearts that it's going and